Hey guys, and welcome to the video. So 12-week body transformation programs, they have been popular for years. However, do they actually work? What are the long-term results? What happens after people finish them? Watch this video to find out. And at the end, I'm going to be giving you the opportunity to join my free emotional eating Facebook group just for women, so stick around for that, but let's get into the video. So first of all, what is a 12-week body transformation program? So it's usually a weight loss program with a catchy name that is targeted towards a certain type of person, and it's usually providing you with a plan over 12 weeks and quite often as well some kind of accountability and support that goes with that. And there are hundreds if not thousands of these 12-week body transformation programs out there, so I'm not going to single any particular one out, just the sustainability and what you actually get out of the programs. So from speaking to many people that have done 12-week body transformation programs, they can be very unsustainable in the long term. So while you are doing them, they can be okay to stick to, but it's what happens afterwards, and quite often people gain the weight back because they just go back to their old habits, because what they have been doing in that 12 weeks is unsustainable long term. But why? What is missing, and what can you expect if you do one? And let me know in the comments, have you done a 12-week body transformation program? How has it been for you? What have been the results? How has it been afterwards? What are your thoughts? So first off, just a note about expectations of what you can achieve in 12 weeks. So in a 12-week period, it's possible to lose maybe 12 to 24 pounds. So the photos you see in the advertising of these 12-week body transformation programs are of people that only needed to lose a little bit of weight, because they're quite often going from someone that looks a bit overweight to perfect bikini body kind of thing. And obviously it's taken you years to get to where you are now in terms of being overweight. So it's not going to take just 12 weeks to go from being in your current situation to having a bikini body. The good weight loss results, where people have lost a lot of weight but they aren't looking perfect at the end, are not often used in the advertising because it's just not what people are expecting or looking for. They're wanting to see going from overweight to perfect, because that draws attention a lot more. So just be aware of that, what's actually possible and what's possible for you. Next, just to be aware of, are the endless 5-star reviews of particular programs. So again, be aware that these reviews are taken at the end of the program. So people are happy, they are sitting with their result. But what happens after that? Is there a review of what happened to that person afterwards, and if they were able to take what they had learned and what they've been doing to continue that? Have they worked more towards their goal? Have they maintained their weight? How have they found it afterwards? If they were to review the program again in terms of long-term sustainability, would it be different? So these reviews don't take into account the long-term sustainability and what happens to these people after the program. And I personally have done programs like this when I was younger myself, and I put weight back on afterwards because of the methods were quite extreme. And yes, I was able to carry them out for the time period, but then I didn't want to carry them out afterwards because it was a lot of effort. And that's what I mean in terms of sustainability. Are you willing to do that forever? So number 3, going more into this long-term sustainability of some of these programs. So if you have a fixed time frame of doing something like a weight loss program, it's quite easy for some people to completely apply themselves and focus on that end goal at that end time period and use a lot of willpower, and that gets them results. But of course, because they're focusing on this 12 weeks, they know it's going to end, so they know there's going to be some respite at the end, and that's what happens. They can focus so much and get really good results, but then comes the question of what happens afterwards. They know that they can relax once it's done, and that's the problem, because what is relaxing? Relaxing is going back to your old habits because you don't have an alternative. And so you slip back into these old habits, and of course, the weight comes back on. Unless your method and approach to losing weight is simple and something that you can incorporate into everyday life and tell yourself, yes, I can do this forever, then it's not going to work. And you have to ask yourself if the approach you are doing is making you think, I can't wait for the day when I get to this result, when I get to this end, because I can relax, then that's a big indicator that this thing that you are doing is not sustainable. And so once you are done, the weight will just creep back on as those old habits come back in. And I know this because I've spoken to hundreds of people who have done these, and this is what's happened, this is what they've told me. Because in actual fact, fat loss is less of a food problem, but more of a thinking around food problem. So it's more of an emotional problem because all your thoughts and behaviors and actions are driven by your emotions. So the thoughts and actions that dictate your day, the choices around food, are dictated by how you feel. So yeah, when you feel motivated and positive about everything, you will take action and do really well. But what happens when you are tired? What happens when you are bored? What happens when you are stressed? What happens when you don't have time? What happens when you have to rush the kids to hospital or the dog is sick on the carpet, something like that? What happens when you just can't be bothered? So what happens when you feel like you're missing out? What happens when you need to relax and enjoy yourself? And ask a question, why are you needing to feel you need to go overly bored to relax and enjoy yourself? What were you not getting that you need? So yeah, life is driven by emotions and the choices come from those emotions. So yes, you can do a 12-week body transformation program and lose weight, but the sustainability is a huge question. There are big steps missing to have long-term weight loss that lasts and lasts and lasts. So what are these steps, I hear you ask? So step number 1 is having a way of eating that doesn't require endless counting, weighing and precision around food that creates extra work and extra stress that you only do when you can be perfect. A way of eating that still helps you to lose weight and also fits in with your family and lifestyle. And it has to be easy because, like I said, unless it's easy, you're not gonna do it when things get hard. And number 2, really, really big, is fixing emotional eating. So those urges and cravings which pull you back in the opposite direction. So when that devil comes out on your shoulder and shouts in your ear to eat that chocolate or the cake or whatever, not having that pull you back in the opposite direction and not having to give in to that. Because of course you can't go forward and lose weight while being pulled back the whole time by giving in to those cravings. So fixing emotional eating is huge for most people. And number 3 is understanding motivation and building a big positive motivation to make you show up in life and make you want to do the things to change, to build your dream life without starting all the time and losing motivation, hopping from diet to diet and just feeling bad all the time and spending your whole life dieting. So motivation, again, is huge. And number 4, any mental conflicts which are holding you back. So there are several things here. So limiting beliefs around what you think is possible. Secondary gain, so the benefits of not changing, the benefits of staying where you are. Negative emotions, so your focus being pulled away from what you want to things that you don't want by negative emotions from your past, making you feel a certain way. So all these things affect your behavior and how you take action. So super, super important. And some people might say, oh, but I need the kickstart, so I'm just going to do this for the kickstart. But the question is, why don't you just do the thing that's going to work sustainably for the kickstart and continue that forever? Because however much you tell yourself, I'm going to do this transformation program for a kickstart and then eat healthily, you're not, because you don't know how to eat healthily. You go back to the old habits and the emotional eating takes over, etc., which sometimes can be made worse by doing one of these programs because you're so good on it, you're so good that you cut out things that you have enjoyed but tell yourself it's only for a short amount of time and then end up binging at the end because you've been anticipating them so much that you have a big binge session. And so this is really, really important to understand. And yes, these 12-week programs are meant to extend and continue after the 12 weeks. You're meant to continue with what you were doing. But in reality, that just doesn't happen because of the focus and the effort you put into them. And I know this myself because when I was younger and I did them, I just couldn't continue either, because what you're doing is so much effort and precision that you can't wait to get to the 12 weeks, and then you slip into what you were doing before. And it's all these reasons that led me to develop my program around solving these issues that hold people back from getting these long-term results, making a sustainable program that does work long-term. And one of the biggest issues, like I mentioned, is emotional eating. So as I've mentioned several times before, I have my free emotional eating group just for women. So if you would like to join that, where every Wednesday I do a free live training on fixing emotional eating, you can join that from the description below, and I'll welcome you into the group. And so that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope it gave you some insights and some help. Like if you did find it helpful, comment as well. Again, have you done any body transformation programs? What were your results? How did it go afterwards? And also subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.